Hello everyone, Scott here again. I just saw Ghost in the Shell, the 2017 live-action movie, back on Tuesday. It's a little late with this one, same as Power Rangers and such, but I finally got to this one. First thing I'll say is I regret not seeing it in 3D, because the visuals in this were fantastic. This is from the director of Snow White and the Huntsman, which I loved the look of, I loved the feel of it. It always felt like it was just missing something, but it had great performance, great look, great action. Just, there was a cohesiveness missing that really held you through the whole thing. That's kind of similar here, so at least we have a Rupert Sanders tone. It's not a good one, and I don't quite know what the missing piece is, so it's very hard to be saying that. That said, I really enjoyed the movie. Scarlett Johansson was awesome in it. Something about her confident walk with a hip sway was just kind of a, what? It really seems odd. Like, she's the most powerful figure in the whole thing, and yet, well, she's Black Widow amongst Cap and Thor and Stark. It's kind of awesome how, like, she's small, but don't mess with her, and yet she's very feminine. Everything is well done in that. Like, it's a great balance. Somehow, even more than Jennifer Lawrence with Hunger Games and Mystique and X-Men, Scarlett Johansson with Black Widow, Lucy, and now this, somehow is the predominant female action hero star. She really is, which makes the lack of a Black Widow movie continually that much more odd, but I digress. Ghost in the Shell has a lot of controversy around it. This movie was blacklisted by a lot of people because they cast a white woman as an Asian woman. And, by the way, it's not casted, it's cast. For everyone who says that. They cast her. And to preface all of this, I honestly saw it from the beginning of, this movie was been trying to be made for a long time. It's based on a 95 anime and stuff after, but this is the anime. They really live-actioned it. Based on a manga, which is inspired by a book, etc., etc., Ghost in the Machine. But Ghost in the Shell is... It's set in Japan, or Hong Kong rather, I believe. I thought it was always set in Tokyo, but I don't remember it that well. But the movie's set in Hong Kong, so maybe. Funny enough, all those Chinese film companies I keep making fun of for being like XXX and Fast 7, Furious 7, Power Rangers, Great Wall, they're here. they made this one too, so like their fingerprints are everywhere. It's kind of cool. It's kind of insane. But this movie had a huge backlash for casting a white woman as this character. And I always felt... I have nothing to corroborate this as being a sure thing, but I just know how movies work. And you take a giant franchise like this, and you have the rights holders holding it back, seeing things like Dragon Ball and Street Fighter, and these things getting made, and they're like, Hollywood's screwing stuff up. We don't really trust it. You need this much budget to pull this off the way we want. Otherwise, you don't get to make our movie. Okay, like Godzilla had to have scenes in Japan for Legendary to get the rights to make the American Godzilla. Like, there's concessions you have to make. And it wouldn't surprise me, considering the Chinese companies, now that I know this, that they wanted a Hollywood star on it. Because that's like The Great Wall with Matt Damon. They reverse engineered it and imported it in. So it doesn't surprise me that's part of it, that they wanted someone like Scarlett. But on top of that, over here in Hollywood, right or wrong, to make a movie at a certain budget level, they need certain things. The producers need certain aspects. And often it's a star, a bankable star. And as far as for bankable stars right now, Will Smith is arguably one, Tom Cruise is a perennial right now, Stallone and Schwarzenegger have fallen off, Statham as well, but internationally they're still strong. And you get guys like Downey and Evans and Pine and Pratt, and they're alright, but they're more associated with their franchises, be it Marvel or Star Trek. They're more like that. Cumberbatch even as well is there. They're not really a star outside of their thing. Vin Diesel's trying that. He's hit or miss with things like Last Witch Hunter, but you never know. And then you have Scarlett Johansson. You have Scarlett Johansson, you have Jennifer Lawrence, and you have Melissa McCarthy. You used to have like Halle Berry and people like that as well. But those three women are the women who define feature films in movies. Melissa McCarthy, you put her in your movie, you're getting $20 million opening. It's it. Her audience follows her. Sandra Bullock is kind of in there with some strength, but not as much. Jennifer Garner should have been, but Elektra ruined that for her. Jennifer Lawrence is also strongly, though, from Hunger Games and from X-Men. Like, that's the 1-2 punch of hers. The third part of that trifecta for her is she is so critically acclaimed that she's commercially and critically acclaimed. Like, she won an Oscar. She's Oscar nominated. She's won other awards as well. My hair is bugging me. Forgive me. Bah. Yeah, so those are your names. Sorry, I don't know what... There's a newspaper thing over here. Anyway. Scarlett Johansson's the other one. She's a legit name after Lucy. And it just makes Black Widow more viable. So, you're not going to make Ghost in the Shell without this budget. To get this budget, you need a star like Scarlett Johansson. This movie wouldn't exist otherwise. Okay? So everyone who's complaining that they hired a white woman to play this movie when they could have hired someone else, they probably couldn't have hired someone else because that wouldn't have been sufficient enough to get the bank rolling from Hollywood and the Chinese companies, and then you wouldn't have the movie being made in the first place. That's how movie stuff is. I just described why. So, that's rambly, but that's part of it. The other part, though, is the whole idea, the concept of Ghost in the Shell is it's literally, and this is no spoilers, I'm describing what Ghost in the Shell means, okay? Is they take someone's mind and they put it into a robot body. Think RoboCop. Except RoboCop had his face, okay? They take a brain and they put it into a robot body. Who's to say it's not a white body? Who's to say it's black? Like, what's it matter? Right? Okay. Now, admittedly, in the movie, the anime, it's Motoko Kusanagi. Here, it's Mira Killian. They address this. This is spoilery, but they address this head on. And people are like, oh, it's ham-fisted and it's stupid and it's worse for it. I think it's kind of brilliant. Because they make a robot body and it's a white woman. And it's a pretty one. And of course that's what they would do. Be like, oh, why would a Chinese company do that? It's a Chinese company run by a white guy. He did. He did it. That's what his robot body is. He had a robot body and then put a brain in it. They didn't make this robot body to look like the person that the brain came from. Simple as that. Third point to all this. I know I'm going to get hate on this anyway, for they could have hired an Asian actress. They could have gotten Jian Ting from Great Wall, which I think would have been fine. Because it is a Japanese anime based in China, so okay. But it's a Japanese anime. Well, it's based in China, but they're speaking Japanese. Well, that's because it's Japanese made for the Japanese audience. Okay, this is an American-made movie for an American audience. Right? So you're going to have them speak English, for one, and a white person. And then they got Japanese people everywhere else, and Chinese people all over. The thing with it is that, yes, you've got cultural appropriation, but the Japanese love that. They're all into that stuff. So it's not overly crazy to see this. The flip side on that is the guy that created it and made it, and the guy who owns it, and the companies were like, yeah, Scarlett Johansson's amazing. She's the best actress of her generation. We never pictured a Japanese actress in this movie whatsoever. The Japanese box office has been big. So, everybody offended saying they should have cast a Chinese or a Japanese actress. The guys who made it are cool with it. So, you might think that that's what they should have done, but these guys who are the ones that you should be, like, if they're offended, you're offended on their behalf, right? Like, it's, yeah, well, they're cool with it. They prefer it. So, yeah. So that's the controversy part. The movie itself has suffered, I think, a bit for that, but in general, it's kind of faltered. Like 19 million opening weekend compared to Power Rangers 40. Something wrong here. So, like, Power Rangers nostalgia isn't that strong. It tapped into something else. This never quite tapped into it, and Scarlett still pulled 19 out of it, so that's good. This movie visually is awesome, and the action is really good. There is some funny dialogue and stuff in it. It's really well done and entertaining in that regard. It looks like a better Blade Runner than Blade Runner in that sense. Like, it looks wild, the cityscapes and stuff like that. The plot sometimes is just kind of stumbling. Like, they cut scenes that didn't seem to work, but they didn't accommodate them. So you end up having a scene go from here to here, and it feels like there was something in between that we don't have, because the dialogue here implies that there's been a lot more time. Or just like, even there's 2 other people were visited beforehand, and yet we went directly there. You know what I mean? So that was the only problem I had with it. And I think it's that overall thing that made the movie kind of fall apart in the Rupert Sanders way. I'm not knocking Sanders. I'm really not. I like everything. It's just like, it's so close. It doesn't quite grasp it. So overall, I fully plan to get the Blu-ray. I loved seeing it in the theater. I regret not seeing it in 3D. No time wasted whatsoever. I do recommend it. See it in theaters if you can. It's probably on its way out soon, though. Simply because Fast came along and just dominated everything. Power Rangers kind of blew it away as well. And, well, 5 new movies come out this weekend, and then Guardians is next weekend. So, yeah, or the weekend after. So, things are getting crazy. But, absolutely check it out. It is worth watching. Thanks for watching all this stuff. I've gotten a bunch of comments on things. Even my old Citizen Kane review got comments on it, and it's, yeah, I get it. People are like, oh, you should be better championing about it. Citizen Kane, it's overrated. That's the point. It's been good discussion, though. I welcome it. Please do more. I've gotten comments on the other ones. Matt Zion and I, Manchester by the Sea. That was a fun one. We've been going on that for, I think, a week or 2 before I even put the video up, because he loves that movie, and oh no. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Always, it's on GuiltyPleasureCinema.com. Cyclops Scott here on YouTube, and the socials as well. That's Twitter for the one, Facebook for the other. Do check it all out, and to Scott Somerton as well. We'll see you next time.